Let's dive into this, yo. Michael Jackson's new movie is causing this problem. Shout out O'Shea Duke Jackson, man. Let's dive in.
Between the years of 1984 and 1985, Michael Jackson was larger than life. He wasn't just known in America. He was known all over the world. And because of how he grew up as a child prodigy, he didn't get a lot of chance to have privacy or even to meet a lot of personal friends.
Hey, man, not gonna lie, man. Shout out Michael Jackson, man. Michael Jackson was one of the biggest artists out there in the world, bro. Everybody knew him, bro. This guy was as popular as the FIFA World Cup, bro. Everybody knew who Michael was. Like, hey, man, I used to be out there listening to his music all day. Even today, y'all, I still got his playlist on my Spotify, on Apple Music. He's that big, y'all. Like, make sure I hit that like and subscribe, man. Shout out MJ.
And it just happened to be that he was in New York City at Helmsley Palace Hotel around this time, where he befriended this particular general manager there, a guy by the name of Dominic Castillo Sr. Now, Dominic Castillo Sr. and Michael Jackson would become somewhat of buddies. And believe it or not, Michael Jackson was drawn to this particular family, the Castillo family, because they were just so normal. And because of that normalcy, he actually went to their house and, believe it or not, spent the night. He was there for Sunday dinners. He was like a part of their family. In essence, Michael Jackson was a person that never grew up, which is why he would have the Neverland Ranch in California.
And that was sad, man. Not gonna lie. Imagine this guy, his whole life, he grew up into fame. He was big at a young age when they had the Jackson 5. Like, that was hard, man. He never really had a childhood, y'all. That's crazy. I can't imagine not having childhood. It doesn't even matter to me. Even if I become a millionaire, but your childhood really matters, y'all. Those are moments that you can't buy. That's why you had Michael as a grown-ass man out there having Neverland and playing with children all the time. Like I've seen in the couple of videos from that guy from Home Alone, which was kind of weird, but I do kind of get from a guy who never had a proper childhood. He got to experience his childhood when he was all grown up, because like at a young age, he was always punished all the time, having to make music. I haven't watched the Michael Jackson movie, but I'm surely gonna watch it. But hey, it is what it is, man.
But Dominic Sr. and his wife Connie and their children adopted Michael Jackson as a part of the family. And to be honest, Michael Jackson did a lot for this family. He actually hired Dominic Castillo Sr. to move to California and become not only part of a general manager, but access to the properties. I mean, Dominic went all over the world with Michael Jackson. In the early 1990s, Michael Jackson would get some of the first accusations about his brand. And this is how he started to lose a lot of support with people in society. And this was with a family by the name of the Chandlers. Now, Jordan Chandler was underage at the time. They were able to sue Michael Jackson for $23 million. And that was a big hit to Michael Jackson's image. Then in 2005, another family came out and tried to sue Michael Jackson. And guess who came to the defense of Michael Jackson at this?
Not gonna lie, bro. Why was he in a lot of controversies, bro? Like, I understand once you're big, man, people are always kind of gonna come at you, bro. I don't know what happened with those accusations, true or false, but one thing I know, the bigger you go, the harder they want you to fall.
Dominic Castillo.
Let's start with your meeting the accuser, what you know about John Doe. When did you meet him?
Several years ago, about maybe 4 years ago I met him.
Okay.
And one thing I'm very upset about is this one person has an alias named John Doe. Why don't they say his name? Why is it always Michael Jackson's name in the media having to get distorted?
This is Dominic Castillo. Castigating the family by calling themselves John Doe. He's saying, look, why don't you come out and tell who you are? And we also would find out who that family was. Gavin Arvizo. They tried to sue Michael Jackson for some of the same things everybody else did. But Michael Jackson was actually acquitted in this particular trial where he didn't have to spend any money, his name would already be tarnished because of what happened in the 90s. But
like, okay, this is what happens. You might win them cases, but the damage has already been done. People will always know him for that, being involved in those controversies that people were saying. The accusations and all those stuff, man, that can really ruin someone's reputation and also their mental, y'all. Like, this is crazy, man.
with the support of his good buddy Dominic Castillo, everything was all good. Remember, Dominic Castillo had a wife by the name of Connie and 4 kids: Frank, Dominic Jr., Marie Nicole, and Aldo. 2009, unfortunately, we have a bad situation occurring because Michael Jackson would die on June 25th, 2009 at the age of 50. He was preparing for his This Is It comeback concert residency in London, and his death was...
I'm not gonna lie, man, this was the saddest moment in the history of music industry, bro. Like, a lot of people were upset by Michael Jackson's death, and looking at the fact that he made so much impact in the music industry, by the way, and he was so popular, man. The king of pop, MJ. Make sure I hit that like and subscribe, man.
Ruled a homicide caused by acute propofol intoxication. It was so bad, his personal physician, Dr. Conrad Murray, was convicted of involuntary manslaughter in 2011. That is how bad it was. So Michael Jackson passes away. Dominic Castillo was his man, 50 grand while he was alive. And that should be the end of the story, right?
Yeah.
In 2019, there would be a very scathing documentary called Leaving Neverland, Surviving Michael Jackson. This was, in fact, released by HBO, and it would talk about the lives of 2 young men who knew Michael Jackson, Wade Robson and James Safechuck. And again, this also...
Hey man, whoever named that documentary is diabolical, man. Like, imagine escaping Michael Jackson. Hey, yo, what? Man, makes Michael Jackson look like the boogeyman for him, man. But hey, it is what it is. A lot of
damage to the brand of Michael Jackson. But funny enough, despite how bad this documentary did to the estate of Michael Jackson, these guys never got any money. HBO actually got sued from Michael Jackson's estate because they broke some kind of rule, and HBO settled out of court with Michael Jackson's estate.
Damn.
But this was not all that it seems.
Imagine going to go try to expose someone and end up not even gaining nothing, man. Not even a single penny. Like, what? That shit crazy,
Jackson's
man.
estate wouldn't be out of the clear, because guess who would come back looking for some money? The Castillo family. Shortly after the Neverland released documentary, the Castillo family did something that Wade Robson and James Safechuck wouldn't do. They would capitalize on the fact and say, listen, we have all of these charges against Michael Jackson. He groomed us. He raped us. You know, the 4 of the kids. This is what happened. Now, this is interesting because Dominic Castillo spent all of this time defending Michael Jackson's honor. He lived on the Neverland Ranch with Michael Jackson. And so now the same father who's benefited from Michael Jackson is now allowing his kids to come out and say, Michael Jackson was hurting me. So let me
That's crazy, y'all. Like, why didn't they do it? Like, okay, I don't know if he really did it or not. But one thing I'm gonna say is, at the time when it happened, why didn't they go out to report? Why didn't they file cases? Why now? Not now, but at a later date when he's lost his life. Like, why?
Ask you this: if you live in a certain place with your 4 children and your wife, and something is happening to your kids, would you not know that something is going wrong? I mean, just think about it.
Yeah, man.
Either you know something is going wrong and you're just ignoring it, or nothing is going wrong. Either one is still bad parenting. But if A is correct, meaning that your kids were being mistreated by Michael Jackson in that way, and yet you did nothing about it, that makes you less of a man.
Facts, man. Why didn't he, like I said, I'm gonna repeat myself again. Why didn't he report this? If he had a problem with it, why didn't he go to him and tell him, hey man, I had a bunch of stories about what happened to my children, but he just decided to keep quiet, which says a lot, man. It says a lot about you as a man to just keep quiet if this was really happening to his children, and to just then at a later date be out here saying, hey, he used to do this to my children and stuff, and letting them talk. Why wasn't you talking back when it happened? Hey man, this is crazy.
Going out and saying, well, we didn't know, or the kids are saying, we didn't know that he was basically brainwashing us and doing this until we got older. And this is something that many of the people who sued Michael Jackson's estate, they use that, particular same thing. It wasn't until I got older until I realized what he was doing to me.
Stop the cap.
And then we get to April 24th, 2026. This is when Antoine Fuqua releases the biopic called Michael. And, well,
critics are calling it extraordinarily sanitized. The performances are getting praised, the songs are recreated almost perfectly, but everything that makes Michael complicated, they cut. And there's a reason that they cut it. Antoine Fuqua was making a full career biopic. It was $155 million. Everyone had said that Jafar Jackson's performance as his uncle was uncanny, but mid-production, the estate's lawyers caught something in an old contract. The contract in the 1993 settlement with the Chandler family, the family of Michael's first accuser, has a clause in it that prohibits the portrayal of their family in any Michael Jackson film ever. The scenes covering the 1993 allegations were reportedly cut, and they had to reshoot for 22 days, making the budget climb to over $200 million. The family
I like the fact that this guy mentioned this, because a lot of people were complaining about the Michael Jackson movie, saying, hey man, why didn't they mention the controversies that he was in? But thankfully this guy is out here to explain it, because most of them, they had settlements with those families not to make videos about it. So they gotta respect the law, man. They can't put all those things in it when the people didn't want to be in it, because it would be like a big problem. But hey man, it was a story about apparently Michael Jackson and his father that was just abusive to him in GTA, by the way. I think so. That was about it.
Reportedly for around $23 million. No criminal charges were filed. Michael denied the allegations his entire life. That's the family that the movie can't legally portray, and that's why it ends in 1987.
So there are certain things in the movie that obviously is not going to be out there. Now, this is important because the movie has done over $200 million in box office sales.
Yeah, man.
And it really has painted, from what I understand, Michael Jackson in a very good light. The life of Michael Jackson ended in 2009, but it stopped in 1987 when Michael Jackson had largely no allegations against him. And so right before this biopic was supposed to be released, this same Castillo family is suing Michael Jackson again. Now, it's important to know that secretly in 2020, they got about $14 million, all right? They have been getting paid that from the state for a long time. Now, this doesn't mean that Michael Jackson was guilty of any of this. It just was better to keep it under wraps because they had leverage, and it would have looked bad for former people, insiders who knew.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, man. They want most of that money. They still want it, bro. Like, imagine getting paid $14 million and you still want more of it. I mean, hey, who am I to say?
To Michael Jackson to then come out and say that this abuse happened. So they paid each of the four siblings $2.8 million over 5 years. In exchange, the Castillo signed a non-disclosure agreement and promised not to sue or to speak publicly. But then that didn't happen. In January 2026, they appeared in a Beverly Hills courtroom, and they weren't suing for abuse. They were trying to stop private arbitration. They were trying to say that this dispute behind closed doors was actually hush money and it was illegal. And now they wanted a public trial. And so that happened officially on February 27, 2026, when four of the siblings filed a massive federal lawsuit in Los Angeles. And
when I was retained by the Casio family, the first thing I did was have each of the 5 siblings give me sworn testimony on video. I ended up with 10 hours of testimony detailing the horrific abuse they suffered at the hands of Michael Jackson. At the invitation of Marty Singer, the lawyer for the estate, I showed him an hour of that video. And his response was, "This will never see the light of day. We're going to resolve this. Make me an offer." I made an offer, and instead of him honoring his word, he took that and went public and accused me of extortion as a defense to addressing the actual crimes that were committed.
The timing of this was epic. Like, filing the suit just as the Michael biopic was hitting the theaters was seen by many as a strategic move to maximize pressure on the estate. I believe now what they're looking for is something of in the upwards of $200 million plus.
Man, they won their money. 200 million. Damn, I bet Michael Jackson estate still make a lot of money. Like, his people still listen to his music. I mean, it is what it is, man.
And I just wanted to talk about this and kind of spin it in my own way. Number one, Michael Jackson, despite his international fame and glory, and this whole idea of Michael Jackson and skin lightening and skin bleaching himself to where maybe people didn't associate him being black anymore. And I get that he had a problem with that. But the whole idea is there are no black people who are alleging anything wrong against Michael Jackson. That hasn't come from any of his kids. It comes from these people, in this case, the Castillos, who were ardent supporters of Michael Jackson. And now all of a sudden they're saying that this happened. And this is one of the things that successful black people have to understand when you're dealing with other groups who have less money than you. And when I'm talking about other groups, I'm not talking about just other blacks or people in the diaspora. I'm really referring to people who are non-black. And when you're dealing with non-blacks in this situation like this here, there's a reason why the rich and the poor are never together in the first place. And it's because of stuff like this. It's one of the reasons why you see what you see today. And what I would tell all successful black people, if you're dealing with other groups, you just got to understand that everybody's not your friend. And any of these things can happen. People can turn on you on a dime for money. It can happen in the black community, but you're really at a loss of leverage when it's non-blacks. And that's what we saw. When you look at these white people talk about the things that Michael Jackson did to them, they're not only trying to damage his reputation, they're using race as a leverage. So this black man who had all of this opportunity did this to these helpless white young people who were just trying to get into the industry. It just looks bad. So I think we can learn from this situation. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea.
Hey man, I kind of get what O'Shea is coming from, bro. But hey man, that's all the Michael Jackson. I mean, are these people trying to leverage off him right now since the movies are there? Performing really good, making a lot of money. They want some of that bread. But anyways, man, I appreciate y'all for making it to the end of the video, man. Thank y'all. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button.